Airdrie's real estate market is going through one of the most dramatic inventory shifts we've seen in years. And I don't say that lightly. Inventory is up more than 170% compared to this time last year. And that's not a small bump. That's not the typical spring surge we see after a slow winter. That's a full-on flood of listings hitting the market all at once. In April of 2023, we had around 160 active listings in Airdrie. As of today, we have over 500 active units for sale in Airdrie. That's a complete reversal in dynamics, and it's changing everything for both buyers and for sellers. Now, here's what makes this even more interesting. Despite that surge, benchmark prices in Airdrie have held up pretty steady. Flat, not climbing, but not falling, just hovering. The current benchmark price is sitting around $507,000, and it hasn't moved much in the last 90 days. And this tells you something very important. There's still demand. Buyers haven't left the market. They're still out there. They're still shopping. They're just being way more selective now. When you have over 500 homes to choose from, you don't rush. You don't overpay, and you definitely don't settle. This is where most sellers are getting blindsided. They're looking at the price that their neighbor got back in February or what their coworker's cousin sold for last fall, and they're assuming that they can do the same or more. But that was a way different market, and that was a tighter supply, less competition, and buyers who felt a lot more urgency. Right now, there's more choice, more days on market, and way more negotiating power in the buyer's hands. And this is what happens in high inventory markets with flat pricing. Good homes still sell quickly, but only if they're positioned properly. If your home is staged well, priced right, and marketed aggressively, you'll still attract showings. You might even get multiple offers in the right pocket. But if you come in sloppy with poor photos, weak pricing, and no exposure strategy, you're gonna get buried. Let's look at the absorption rate. A balanced market typically sits around 4 to 6 months of inventory. Last year, Airdrie was sitting under 1.5 months of inventory, a strong seller's market. Now we're climbing closer to 3.5, even 4 months of inventory. We're technically not in a buyer's market, but it definitely feels like it. Power is shifting. The days of selling your home in 48 hours and with 3 offers and no conditions, they're over. At least for now. And it's not just about the number of listings. The quality of the inventory has improved too. We're seeing more move-in ready product, more stage homes, more price-aware sellers entering this market. And that's raising the bar for everyone. A year ago, you could get away with listing a home that needed work and still spark a bidding war. Now, buyers want a clean turnkey and priced at or below market home. The tolerance for fixer-uppers is shrinking unless the discount is real. All right, if you've made it this far, you clearly are into this content, so do me a favor, hit the like button, it helps more people see this. And if you want more straight to the point real estate insights without the fluff, make sure to subscribe. I drop videos like this often, very often. I'd actually drop it more if I had more subscribers, so thank you for subbing. What's wild is the psychology. A lot of sellers still think it's January. They're waiting for a bidding war that doesn't exist. They're expecting unconditional offers, quick closes, and a ton of traffic, and when they don't get it, they panic. They blame the market. They blame their real estate agent. They wonder why no one's coming through their home. Meanwhile, the smart sellers, the one who understand the data, who prepare properly, who hire the right team, those homes are still moving because buyers are active, just not desperate. Let's talk about buyer behavior for a second. In a tight market, buyers are reactive. They see a home pop up, they go and see it that day, and they feel the pressure to write. In a high inventory market, they're patient. They scroll through 20 listings, save their top 3. Maybe they wait a few days, book a viewing for the weekend, then go home and run the numbers. They're comparing your home to everything else in the same price band. That 500 to 550,000 range, it's now crowded, and if you're clearly not the best value in your category, you're done. And marketing, it's no longer optional, it's mandatory. We're not just talking about MLS and a few social posts, we're talking about a full marketing plan. That means cinematic video, drone, reels, paid advertising across Instagram, Facebook, and Google, and custom targeting to Ontario and BC buyers who are still looking for affordability. Because here's one thing, they're still watching. People in Toronto and Vancouver are still getting priced out and looking to Alberta, but they're not going to click on a poorly shot iPhone listing with no floor plan and bad lighting. They'll skip right over it. This is why pricing strategy has become more important than ever. Not just pricing to match recent sales, but pricing to position. You want to land on the sweet spot where your home looks like a steal compared to your competition, even though it's not. Even if it's the same size, same finish, same builder, it's about perception. Because once your listing is 15 or 20 days old, it's stale. People assume there's something wrong with it, they stop clicking, you drop the price, and the spiral begins. You never want to be chasing the market down. You want to be leading it. And for the record, overpricing by $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 to leave room for negotiating, it doesn't really work anymore.
Surprise, surprise, that didn't work out.
Buyers aren't writing low offers on overpriced homes. They're just not writing. They're moving on. The homes that are selling in Airdrie right now are the ones that are dialed in. Day one, sharp pricing, professional media, aggressive launch. That's the formula. Now, if we're looking at the broader economic context, this market shift makes perfect sense. Interest rates have been holding steady, inflation has cooled a bit, and the Bank of Canada is signaling that we may see a rate cut by summer. That creates stability. It makes people more comfortable listing. Add in the population growth Alberta saw over the past 2 years, record interprovincial migration, and you've got a recipe for a busy spring. But busy doesn't mean bullish. It means competitive, and in Airdrie, that competition is real. Detached homes, especially in that 500 to 650 range, they're stacking right now. And that's where we see most of the new listings. So if you're going to be listing a home in that range, you're not just competing against the house down the street, you're competing against 20, 30, 40 listings just like it. So what are you doing to stand out? And I don't mean a price drop, I mean storytelling. Your video needs to tell the story of the home, the lifestyle, the layout, the upgrades, the location, the family-friendly cul-de-sac. The finished basement, the custom lighting, whatever sets it apart, it needs to be front and center. And it needs to be real. Buyers can tell when it's fluff. They want transparency, they want confidence, and they want to feel like they're not being sold. They're discovering a great property. I just had a listing presentation where the seller wanted to come out $25,000 to $35,000 above the most recent sale comps. I showed them the market stats, the inventory, the active competition, and explained why the price point would kill our momentum. They trusted the process, we priced it right, marketed the hell out of it, and sold it within a week. Had we gone with their number, we'd still be sitting there probably with a 10, 15K price drop by now. This is what I mean when I say that this is a skill market. The days of throwing a sign in the yard and getting 10 offers are gone. Now you need data, strategy, creativity, and execution. You need an agent who understands buyer psychology, leverages technology, uses paid media, and has a deep database of out-of-town interest to tap into, because this is what it takes to win. And let me be clear, Airdrie is still a phenomenal place to live and invest. You get more house for your money, great schools, tons of park, quick access to Calgary, and a strong sense of community. But the market isn't doing you any favors right now. You've got to earn every showing, every offer, every dollar, and that means doing things the right way from the start. So if you're thinking about selling, take a breath and look at the landscape. Understand what buyers are seeing, know your competition, have a good game plan, and most importantly, don't guess. Don't assume that the market will come around and someone will fall in love with your home despite weak marketing. They won't. Not in this market. This is the moment to get serious. The homes that are selling right now are the ones that feel like a win. Clean, polished, dialed in listings that make the buyer feel like they found the one. If you want to be in that category, you need to approach this like a launch, not a gamble. Your pricing, your presentation, your exposure need to be world-class, because buyers are watching, and with over 170% more homes to choose from, they've never had more power. If you want their attention, you've got to earn it.